What's that smell? No! Not this time! We're gonna need something a little less toxic. I'm going in. I think it's time for you to leave.
Turpenoid Light is a turpentine substitute that thins artist oil colors, modifies oil painting mediums, and cleans oil painting brushes and accessories. It's a highly refined mixture of petroleum distillates that's had all of its harmful aromatics removed. It boasts a very high flash point of 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees Celsius, and it evaporates very slowly and completely.
This means it's safe to use in a non-ventilated environment. That said, I like to have a little cross-ventilation going in my studio. It is not non-toxic, however.
Wait a minute! If it's not non-toxic, then why are you talking about it like it is?
Because all the harmful aromatics have been removed and it evaporates really slowly. That means there are no fumes that are going to hurt you while you're working in the studio. And the 200-degree flash point? Come on, that's really useful because it's really hard to set on fire then. This is just a win-win. It just happens to be toxic if you swallow it. So don't drink it.
Well, now that you mention it, the air doesn't smell funny and my head isn't floating as much as usual.
Well, I can't help what this guy gets into the rest of the time, but Turpenoid Light can certainly help with your painting practices. Speaking of which, why don't we take a look at how to use it?
Hey, that actually doesn't stink too bad.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
You said it was safe.
I said that all the harmful aromatics have been removed. That doesn't give you a license to stick your nose in it and just sniff away. Have some sense.
Well, now you're just contradicting yourself, butthorn.
Well, I think that leads us right into step one.
Store your Turpenoid Light in a sealed container, make sure it's labeled accordingly,
and remove anyone that might be susceptible to toxic substances, such as children, animals, and sentient anthropomorphic puppets.
Hey, I don't know what sentient and anthropomorphic mean, but it sounds fancy.
Well, you're about to find out.
Sorry, little buddy, you gotta stay out here. The studio's not safe for you. He's crazy if he thinks I'm gonna stay put.
Well, now that my primary distraction is in timeout, we can finally get down to business. For this first part, I just want you to watch. I don't want you to do anything, I want you to watch. Don't worry, I'll let you know when it's time to try it with me.
First, you gotta get some paint on your palette. It doesn't really matter what colors you can use 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't recommend going any higher than 4 though, and that's including white. Here I'm using a little bit of cadmium yellow and alizarin crimson, and you use whatever you want, bro. When you dip your brush into the Turpenoid Light, you don't need to use a lot of it. This is one of those cases where a little dab will do you. Just dip your brush ever so gingerly, and you're all set. Now, when you mix the Turpenoid Light in with the paint, it's a good idea to just use as much as you need to get the paint fluid enough to use. And a good rule of thumb here is to keep it at about 50-50. Now, however you paint, it may warrant more or it may warrant less, but you gotta be careful when using this stuff, because if you use too much of it, your paint might be underbound, and if it's underbound, then it could negatively affect your painting at some point in the future. Food for thought here, but this is one of those cases where everyone's painting style is a little different. There's just some advice to go along with it. Now, when you've got that all settled, apply the paint to the canvas however you see fit. I recommend laying it down as flat as you possibly can, in the event that you want to add glazes later on or impasto layers. And once you're finished, you can use a little bit more Turpenoid Natural and clean off your brush.
Look at that! Chirping about safer oil painting when he's cleaning his brush on enough paper towels to leave a carbon footprint the size of King Kong! I was right! He is a butthorn!
If you want to go a little more green, you can use a specialized container like the museum pot. Pour in the Turpenoid and wipe your brush on the grating. The paint will settle at the bottom of the pot eventually. After a lot of paint accumulates, pour off the top layer of Turpenoid into another container and use your palette knife to clear out the sediment. Don't throw it away though, because you can still use that as an easy, quick neutral. This is why I tell you to try and keep your mixes to about 4 colors. Wipe away the excess, pour the Turpenoid back in, and
Boom! You're ready to start painting again. And you just saved a couple of bucks on paint, paper towels, and even Turpenoid. It sounds trivial, but, you know, you do this a while and adds up.
If anything needs to go green, it's your mouth! We need to clean it up because everything you say is wrong when it's accompanied by naughty language!
Cuss words don't invalidate arguments, but being a puppet does.
How rude!
I want you to try it with me now. Get some paint on your palette and mix it up, whatever color you want. It's a good idea to get more than you think you'll need, because doesn't it always seem like you always run out when you get what you think you'll need? Don't worry if it turns out to be too much. You can just scrape it off and add it to the mud for them there easy neutrals. Anyway, after you've got the paint, get some Turpenoid on your brush, just a little bit. Mix the Turpenoid into the paint so it has a soft consistency. You want the paint to still have some body. Remember, you just want enough medium to get the paint fluid enough to use. Some painting techniques require a liquid consistency, and if that's the way you want to do things, it's up to you, but you run the risk of underbound paint. Then start painting. Keep the layers as thin as you can, because it helps colors dry faster and you want the initial layer to be lean. If this is the only medium you use, that's fine, but it works better for plein air technique, because when you use nothing but Turpenoid light, your painting dries to a matte appearance. So if you're painting in layers or using glazes, you really need something a little fatter, like stand oil or resin gel. Just try not to paint with liquid paint too often and it'll be fine. Finally, clean the brush off however you do it and repeat all the steps till you're finished.
And if you can do that, you're ready to try it on your own.
Turpenoid light crushes pure gum turpentine and slaps it back to the dark ages where it belongs.
And it even outperforms odorless turpentine because that has a flashpoint at least 70 degrees less and it still gives off harmful vapors.
No. I'm gonna keep the cap on, because I need my brain cells. Both of them.
Turpenoid light, man. It's friggin' great.
Oh, it's alright, but what I really want to do is test out that flashpoint! Here, we'll both strike one and make it a team-building exercise!
Are you mad? You'll blow us all to a mythical land of unicorn farts and sunshine! Ah! Where did that come from?
I came prepared! I thought you tried to get rid of the first one and I was right! So what do you say, buddy?
Look, I'm telling you, we're not doing that.
Oh, you're always so melodramatic! I only have one life! You can't put me back together with hot glue and stitches! Where's your sense of adventure?
Oh, come with me and I'll show you.
Yeah.
You're going in too hot, and I think you need to cool down.
No!
The toxic threat is neutralized for now. but the battle isn't won yet. Next week, we're gonna take a look at resin gel, and then things are really gonna heat up for the enemy. Until then, Soulkeeper out.